This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm John Abraham, joined by a very miserable sounding Damon McDonald. We're talking for about maybe 3 minutes off air and you sound like you're about to jump in front of a bus. So I've got a feeling I'm going to have to be talking you down from a ledge during this episode. What's going on in Damon's world?
Just horrible. I don't know. It's I know we do a show, and I know that we, our main goal is to have people be entertained by pro wrestling talk, and it's just like I don't. At every turn, like I'm not good at trying to put on a happy face. I don't know if anybody knows that. I'm really not good at it. And I just worry that this is just going to be a downward spiral of me being miserable and then people just bail out. And I get there's strong, like I feel like I'm just doing a show sometimes to put another check box in, and I know that's terrible. Like I know that's just not why I do a show, or that I even would want to do a show. But then there's the other side of my head that's like, okay, do it. You always have fun doing it. You love talking to Joel, and if it's even if it's just that, it's you're going to get some pleasure out of that. So the show will absolutely either be great or suck. There will be no gray. There will be no gray area, and that's where we are. Like I don't know. I can't put. I can't spin it. I can't come on here and be a professional broadcaster and just be like, or tough it out or whatever. If I'm done toughing out things. So. Welcome to the show.
I think that's something that the listeners appreciate and love about you, Damon. The fact that you do wear your heart on your sleeve and you don't sugarcoat things or be insincere or disingenuous like that. So, I feel you. It's a weird time,
but everybody's going through it. But everybody's going through it, Joel. Joel, you're in a fucking hotel room. For how long have you been there?
I've been in this hotel room for about... How long have we been here, Maddie? 2 weeks now?
2 fucking weeks.
Yeah, and the worrying thing is that China have said basically no foreigners are allowed to come in, including us, who we've got visas and work permits and stuff. So they've temporarily said, but as things stand, we've got no idea when we're going to be allowed to go home. We have plans to go and see my parents in the summer back in the UK so they can, see their granddaughter. I don't know if that's off the table now because the state of things in Britain at the moment. So, yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment.
How are you managing that? Internally, like you're good at I don't know. You just seem like a dude that's good at finding the sweet spot. No matter how bumpy the road, and just fucking finding the sweet spot. Whereas I feel like I find every bump along the way. How are you doing? What are you doing to get through that?
I'm looking at the positives, and it's great to be able to spend time with my daughter. What a treat that is for a new father. Most fathers, they get, if they're lucky, maybe like a week of paternity leave or something, and then, bam, back to work, back to the office. But for me to be able to spend pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with my wife and my daughter, and be able to share these special moments with Esther, as she's only 3 weeks old now. But I'm really cherishing that and feeling grateful that, like I said last week, I'm still getting paid. I can still put food on the table for my family. I'm pretty busy with work stuff, and I've just been binge watching a hell of a lot of TV. I've started a rewatch of The Wire, so season 1, just almost as close to perfect as a season of TV as you can get. Plough through season 2, bit of a slog, but still good TV. Eating a lot of good foods, having nice walks in Lumpini Park, enjoying. I follow the water monitor lizards in this park. Right, they've got these. They look like Komodo dragons, Damon. Like these huge lizards that just sort of skulking around by the water, massive claws. They look terrifying, like the sort of thing you should be running away from. But they're really sort of quite gentle and docile, and they just sort of go meandering along there. I like to walk around the park and look at them to try and just take my mind off things. So,
well, I'm writing all this.
Taking it one day at a time, really.
I'm writing all this down. So I have. Get a lizard, right, and then steal a baby is what I have to do. Okay, all right, I got it. I
guess I'm not that bothered about having things, sports I like, Arsenal and New Japan taken off the table, because I've just diving headfirst into my TV and movie backlog, and that's really helped take my mind off things. I don't want to watch like fucking empty arena shows, because that's just reminding me of all the shit that's happening. Right. I'm sick of hearing about the virus, because I've been hearing about it before most people have. I've had this as a steady stream since January, and like literally on my doorstep. So I'm just exhausted by it. I don't want to hear it anymore. So I've just sort of compartmentalized that and think, okay, I'm just going to let it play itself out, and I'm sure things will go back to normal at some point. So I'm just concentrating on just the day to day, changing nappies and having live video conferences with my kids at school every day, and started watching Tiger King with the missus. And I mean, what's the alternative if you
know what the alternative is? I'll tell you what the alternative is. You sit in a room and you don't watch anything because nothing makes you happy. You don't return text messages because you don't want to talk to people because you're miserable and you don't want to bring anybody down. You avoid doing a podcast so that you don't have to sit in front of a microphone, and that's the opposite. That's what you do. you
That's what makes it such compelling audio.
Does it? Here's what else you do. You drink like you've never drank before. I don't think I've and I think it's pretty notorious elbow in the ribs kind of thing. Damon drinks. He really can't handle the amount. Constantly from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. Because why not? See, I've always had this thing where I can where you are able to take that bad situation and see it. I take that bad situation and you can't hit a moving target, Joel. So I had many things to keep me preoccupied. And those things that were a real nice comfort or defense mechanism or whatever are gone. Now add to that people that we know that are sick and have this, and people that we know that are, in the hospital, and people that we know that are dying and have already died. It's, that's what you do. That's how you spend 3 weeks. And all of that comfort. And I feel like everybody's going through this. Like, that's what the weird part about it is like everybody's going through it, but everybody can manage it, right? It feels like everybody can manage it better, and I'm really jealous of those people. So that's our show. It's Joel being an adult and being able to handle situations, and it's Damon who doesn't.
I was going to ask you, like, which aspects of this are you finding most difficult, but I think you've laid it out pretty clearly there. It's just the sort of the cumulative effect of all those things. I was going to say little things, but they're not little things. All those extra things being piled on top, like one sort of big game of buckaroo. And yeah, once you take away all those little comforts and distractions that you had, then it makes it difficult to turn off all the noise that's happening outside. I mean, I liked it better when this virus situation was literally on my doorstep. People in the building that I lived in Xiamen having it, and the white suits and everything coming in, but being able to go on Twitter or watch something from another country, New Japan, Arsenal, whatever, and be able to take your mind off that for a while and know that in other parts of the world things are normal. But now,
right? Yes. But I worry about you. I worry about the little one. I worry about I worry about everyone. It's those again. I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not only do I find it to be great pro wrestling, but I find it to be a great thing to distract me from me. And that's, I watch hockey because it's a great thing to distract me from me. And and I don't want to make this sound like this is all about me, because it's not, because everyone in the entire fucking world is going through it. And maybe people who are in doubt and somewhat feeling, I hope you're not feeling like I'm feeling, but if you are feeling like I'm feeling, maybe there's somebody out there that's like, oh, at least I don't feel like I'm alone and feeling the way that I feel. I can't imagine you feeling this way, though. But that's what this has done to me. It's just, and I look forward to doing this show, and I look forward to talking to you, but I don't look forward to I don't look forward to this. Truth be told, I didn't expect at 6:21 I'd be sitting in a puddle of my own urine and tears, but here we are, right? Here's what else I don't like, Joel. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the fact that everybody has to find excuses to come up with content. Like this fucking movie. You know how much I'm dreading this movie, watching this fucking Tanahashi movie? I don't watch regular movies. You know what I mean? And now I'm going to watch this movie that I really don't give a shit about. And the only reason I'm doing it is to distract me from the fact that there is no pro wrestling. And we need content for a show. And even though I reach out to people who ghost me to maybe help in that fashion, I still know that we have a show to do. So I'm sorry if I'm bringing anybody down. But I don't give a shit, be honest with you, because I've said it from the jump. I don't care if you listen or you don't listen. I do it for me and Joel. We get together to talk about pro wrestling, and it happens to be recorded.
Yeah, I think that's something that listeners and myself value, is the fact that it's real and genuine and from the heart. When we're excited and happy about things, we are excited and happy. But when things are not so going well, then we're going to reflect that.
What do you want to talk about, Joel?
I don't know.
Say something funny, Mike.
It's not like I don't feel I have a duty to do this show every week. But, I like talking to you. It's fun. It takes my mind off things. And I think other people appreciate it as well. So it's always a little bit tempting to just think, let's just knock this on the head until the wrestling's back, because we're really scraping the barrel in terms of stuff to talk about. But I know if we did that, then this stupid podcast that we do, taking that away, this crap that we talk about, Damon, that could be someone else's distraction and someone else's little thing in the week that they stick on to help them forget or get through a commute or, do the chores at home or whatever. So that's what's keeping me doing it, because I don't want to make anyone's life worse, even if it's just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, by not getting this dumb podcast. I don't want to make people's lives worse at this time.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I was very hesitant of even doing this show, was because why would I want to? Because I know where I am. You know what I mean? Like, I know. Like, I don't want to bring anybody. I don't want to bring anybody else down. You know what I mean? Like, that's
no. I don't think like it's our duty to cheer people up and be like upbeat and funny. I just think even if we do come on and say, "Hey, look, we're feeling pretty low about things this week," other people hearing that might be. I'm sure there's tons of people feeling the same. Like you've spoken before about struggles you've had, just like flying, and you've had people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, Damon, it meant so much to me that you were honest about that, because that's something I've struggled with as well." And just hearing you be open about that on the podcast made a big difference to me. So I wouldn't view it as dragging things down. I think there's probably a lot of people who are thinking, you know what, I feel exactly the same way, and I'm glad you've put that out there, because I know I'm not alone in feeling shit about everything that's going down.
right. But I don't find that. Like, I don't see that. I see a shit ton of phoniness, and I see a shit ton of either a shit ton of phoniness or a shit ton of people who are better than me. I'm being dead serious. Like, I see people doing shitty push-ups. right?
I'm not doing. I've got so much fucking weight.
Oh, you have no idea, Joel. I probably have gained at least 10 pounds. At least. There's no possible way I haven't. We have all these. I talk about them all the time. The local breweries, and I hide behind this thing where it's like I want to support these people. They worked hard for their business, and I don't want to see them fail. So I was spending money, but a lot of it is just I just want to drink beer and get fucking hammered. They're like I looked at the thing I drank last night alone. And here's where I know I'm in deep shit. I don't get hangovers anymore. I don't get hangovers anymore. So there's got to be something in my body that's like, oh, that's a perfectly normal amount of alcohol you're drinking, Damon. right. That's perfectly. You're right. You're right in that sweet spot. And I look at what I drink, like my recyclable cans. I swear to God, I took it to trash yesterday, and I you know how like you just kind of one hand grab the can, drag it to the curb, and usually they're fucking empty cans. Joe, I couldn't move it. I went and tugged it. And I was like, what? Wasn't there a fucking brick in here? And I tugged it, and I was nope. It was 3/4 of the way filled with recyclable cans, and I was like, what a fucking week you had, dude.
What a great deed you're doing for these retailers and the alcohol industry and the recycling people. You're single-handedly keeping all them in business. So give yourself a pat on the back, Damon.
Yeah. You know what? There is something to be said that I mean, the minute, like, I have a thing, I guess, I don't know if it's a burner feed, but I just have like a Twitter feed that's dedicated it's all just our local breweries. And I'm constantly refreshing it, right? To see if there's any changes in, like, can they still home deliver? Do they have anything new on tap? Like, that's all I do. And the minute it is, I'm on the horn with them, like, setting a delivery. I was like, if you look at my bank balance and you see where your withdrawals are, it's nothing else besides breweries and, like, the grocery store because we have them delivered now. That's it. That's the only thing that's on there. Fucking it.
How's Mrs. Damon doing?
She thrives best, and I don't know. Like, I feel bad, even though she says that she thrives best when she has stuff to keep her mind busy and occupied. And if I'm that, like a child, like an infant child, then she seems to thrive. But keep in mind that she, doesn't deal well with medical stuff. That's kind of her thing. So, knowing that there's a virus out there that, contaminates people without having symptoms and all that, that's not a good thing for her. You know what I mean? That would be the equivalent of me putting me on an airplane without any alcohol or medication. So, as long as she's busy, she's good. You know when the worst part is, Joel? Because I still have work. And again, I work from home, so it's not it's not too much of a difference from 9 to 5. And she's working from home, so as long as she's busy, it's good. I'm sick of every day being exactly the same. I guess maybe that might be it. But she's been great. Like, she's, when I'm at my bottom, she kind of knows what things to do and what things to say. She knows when to pull back and let me be alone, and she knows when to kind of push a little bit and be like, come on, we're gonna be all right. So but yeah, she has her own struggles with it. Like, we can't. I don't know what it is. We're basically under lockdown in Jersey, so we can't. Nothing's open. We can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go if we wanted to go somewhere. But even something like just driving around, like, let's just get in the car and just drive around. We're not going to get out of the car. But even like if I had to get gas and giving the card to the person in New Jersey, you can't pump your own gas. They got to pump the gas for you. That interaction, she's just like, I'm not too cool with this. I don't know. And like, if I have to leave the house to go to the market or go somewhere, and which is not often, you could see her face. Her disposition drops. And it's like, it's like, it's okay. I'm just going. There's literally no one there besides the person there, and you don't even exchange money. You put it in a bucket. Everybody's got gloves on. All this stuff. But that's always a struggle. So to answer your question, as long as she's busy, she's fine. But she's not having any of this. She's not doing well with it.
And how's Shadow of the Colossus going?
That's really the best question. I love that game, man. I love that game. I haven't played it in a couple days, but I don't know. There's something very comforting in that video game, and I don't know what it is.
You know what, Dave? There's a movie called, I think it's called Rain Over Me with Adam Sandler. And I think it's about Adam Sandler having lost his family during 9/11. So he gets really depressed and sort of isolates himself from all his friends. And the way he copes with that depression is by playing Shadow of the Colossus.
No way.
It's like a big, yeah, it's a big feature of the film. And it's got like Don Cheadle as his mate who's coming in to check on him. And they sort of reconnect through him playing Shadow of the Colossus. So, yeah, it's really interesting that you said that. Because
wow.
I think it's a game that for a lot of people has been like a sort of a quiet moment of escapism when things are not going so well.
Yeah, it's. I never got that before. I never had a video game do that. Yeah, it has been. If I've had anything come out of this, it's that love of that video game. Yeah, I don't, and it's weird because if you told me on the surface, like just the basic premise of it, I would probably be like, okay, great. Yeah, I think probably. I don't know. There is some like, isn't there? As stupid as this is going to sound, Joel, isn't there like a sense of accomplishment when you reach that fur in video games and in dating? Sorry, that was terrible. I didn't mean to.
For me, it's when the music drops because you kind of get two music tracks for each fight, and then you get one that's maybe a bit more sort of dark and ominous, but then when the tide's turning the battle, like when you've grabbed onto the fur and it switches and it plays the more sort of triumphant, heroic, upbeat track, then you're like, yes, I'm going to fucking stab a sentient beast in its head.
Right. There is something coming where you pump that fucking sword and it's like in the air and it's wham! Yeah, there is that. And I do like when they try and shake you off. So again, you're climbing these gigantic rock / fur armored beasts. They're massive. They're just gigantic, colossus. And again, the goal is on the majority of them is you got to find a way to climb up onto them, and they have these like little spots on them that you have to stab, and eventually you put them down. It's frustrating, yet it's like you can see how you can do it. Like in your mind, you have to figure out how the fuck do I climb up on this fucking thing, and they're all different sizes and shit. Like one's you're in like a gigantic body of water, and like how the fuck do I get on this thing? And another one, you just got to figure it out. Listen, there are times where I look at the video, not times. There are times where I'm looking at YouTube videos, seeing how the fuck this is done. But which one did I just finish? I did like the one in the sand, like in the desert, the flying one where you had to hit the pouches.
That's my favorite one.
Is that the favorite one? Yeah. And then you have to ride. It like kind of drops down, and the wings hit the sand, and you have to kind of ride your horse right near it, and really you got to gun the horse. He's got to fly to get up to it, and then jump, get on it, then shimmy up and get it. Yeah, that one's a good one. I like that one a lot. Which one am I on? I forget which one I'm on. That I just finished. That might be the one.
That's the 13th one. So the one after that is a small one. It's like a lion, and it chases you around like a ruin.
Oh yeah, no, I did that one. I did that one. Yeah, that's the one with the fire, right?
No, it's similar to that one. Okay. This one, it's sort of chasing you across pillars and columns and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I've reached that one yet. The one with the fire was tough because, like, I couldn't understand. Like, I ran to the fire. They have these cauldrons that you have to climb up on. And if you don't get up there quick, the fucking thing, it's like a giant lion, and it will just beat the shit out of you. It'll put you in the corner and just fuck you up. Fucking Shibata style. And then when you get up the first time.
It's a metaphor for depression, Damon, isn't it? you got to reach for that torch, reach for that light, and fight back.
Yeah. Then you push it off the ledge, like you kind of, because it's afraid of the fire. But then you think you're done. You're like, I was like, my first thought was, okay, that wasn't too hard once you figured it out and got it done. But then you had to continue on because all it did was break its armor. All right, we're doing a Colossus podcast. That's what the fuck we're doing.
We should just rebrand. I'd say that's one of the things that I'm most upset about in this whole situation, that I cannot go back to my home to get my PlayStation and play the new Resident Evil 3 because it looks brilliant, and that's the one thing that's bummed me out recently. But there you go. At least we've still got access to pornography because without masturbation, this would be... No?
How are you jerking off? How are you doing it in a room, in just one room, in a hotel room? How are you pulling that off? Because I can't even do it in my house. I can't.
With a sense of danger.
I haven't jerked off in 3 weeks.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah. How do you do it? Tell me how to do it. How do you do it? What's the plan? I need that plan. And what's that plan?
Say you're going for a massive poo and then knock one out of the bathroom.
Okay.
But for added authenticity, make sure you do a poo as well, so you leave a poo smell. Because otherwise, your tissue of lies will come falling apart.
So like a masturbatory Blumpkin. That's pretty good. Okay, I like this. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm doing it today. I'm fucking doing it today. I'm letting everyone know.
Let us know how it goes.
Yeah,
tweet.
I'll fucking zoom that. What do you think of that, you jerk offs? I'm doing it. By the time you listen to this, it'll be done. I'll tell you that right now.
I was hoping to transition that into our Roman ad read.
Oh, sure.
Nice and slick.
Yeah, let's do that. Roman, our good friends at Roman, they. That's another thing. I gotta be honest with you. Haven't been fucking that much. Gotta be honest with you. Maybe Roman will help me out.
Mate, I've got 6 weeks off the table. So
yeah.
Hard times.
I know, really. Well, listen. Maybe this is just the thing people need to kind of, once it's there, what are you going to do? You got to be like, look, got to take care of this thing. It's not going to go away on its own, right? Our friends at Roman help that. And I'm not even going to say how many days it's going to take for you to see a fucking doctor in the United States, Joel. Well, what's the point? Why? Because we have coronavirus. They're a little busy to worry about your fucking boner. All right? I hate to say it.
Is that part of the copy? Are you reading this verbatim?
I'm going a little ad-lib. I'm going to ad-lib a little bit right now. They don't give a fuck, right? They don't give a shit if you can't get a boner. That's why it's all about Roman, okay? Why? Well, our friends at Roman, they've spent years building a digital platform that can connect you with a doctor licensed in your state, all from the comfort of your home. You know that place you've been in for 3 fucking weeks that you haven't left? Well, guess what? Now you can talk to a doctor in the comfort of your own home. Roman makes it convenient to get the treatment you need on your schedule. Not like you got nothing better to fucking do at this point, right? Why not talk to the doctor about that fucking boner of yours? Just grab a phone or computer, complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. Now, look, I'm not going to tell you that this 24-hour thing, they might be better suited helping coronavirus people, but hey, maybe your boner is just more important, right? Maybe. Well, guess what? You can do it. For the free online visit, you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. Great. And the doctor decides that treatment is right for you. If they do, Roman's Pharmacy can ship your medication to you with free 2-day shipping. Not masks, not your boner pills. Free 2-day shipping. You also get free unlimited follow-ups with your doctor anytime you have questions or just want to adjust your treatment plan. With Roman, there's no commitments, and you can cancel at any time. So, if you are struggling with ED, erectile dysfunction, you cannot get a hard-on, I need for you to go to GetRoman.com/VOW. Yeah, GetRoman.com/VOW for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Now's the time to do it. That's GetRoman.com/VOW. You've got plenty of time on your hands. GetRoman.com/VOW for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Thank you, Roman. GetRoman.com/VOW.
Nicely done. I was worried about that at the start of
Yeah.
the show. I thought I was going to have to read that.
Why don't you do one? You could do one.
But you're better at it than me.
I don't know if I am. I just, I don't know.
I like setting it up, like a football match. I like provide the assist. And
Yeah.
you finish it.
Who's at the door?
Who's at the door? Mally, who's at the door? Food. Is it my dinner?
Oh.
Exciting times.
What do you got?
We are having somtams, like a spicy papaya salad, which is probably going to give me the shits.
Hey, you can
I was
off though.
woken up this morning. Our sleeping patterns are a bit messed up at the moment, but Mally screaming, "Joel, help!" And I woke up in a panic because, when you hear that and you've got, 3-week-old baby with you, you fear the worst. I was like, oh my God, what has happened? I was expecting the worst. So ran out into the living room area, and Esther had just done a explosive diarrhea all over Mally, and I just laughed because it was the sense of relief, and also just the comedy of seeing my wife covered in liquid baby feces. So that's been the highlight of my day.
Oh, it's terrible. Well, Cheryl has something similar. Not really, but she was preparing dinner one night. And I'm in my office, and she kind of, I always know when something is up because she'll come walking right up to the doorway, but she won't enter. And she'll just look and be like, "Can you help me or see this or whatever?" And I walk into the kitchen. Are you familiar with a manwich, Joel? Are you familiar with the idea of a sloppy Joe? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the meat, like a red sauce, spicy a little bit, kind of. There, I walk into the kitchen. It looked like somebody took a gunshot. It was everywhere. It was on the ceiling. It was on. It was everywhere. And I was like, "What the fuck you do?" And she goes, "I hit it with my elbow." And she turns around and she's wearing this white kind of hoodie kind of thing, and it was just covered. She looked like fucking Onita in a fucking bar. And it was everywhere. It was like, I don't know how the physics happened where it bounced off of walls and wound up on walls that it was on the ceiling. We spent a good half hour trying to clean that shit up. But it was funny because I was just like, "What the fuck did you do?" She goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't blah, blah, blah." I was like, "I don't care. We'll clean it up."
So more good advice for the self-quarantining. Have some sort of shit or food-related mishap and enjoy the laughs as you clean it up together.
Absolutely. All right, Joel, do you want to talk about canceled shows?
Okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way quickly. So, news in response to the ongoing coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. 5 further events on the Road to Dontaku tour between April 12th and April 18th have been cancelled. Also, All Japan cancelled their Champion Carnival today.
Really?
After billing people for April for their TV service. You gotta love it. And also the New Zealand dojo tryouts have been postponed, which have been scheduled for May 9th and 10th. I imagine the Wrestle Dynasty ticket sales are going to be pushed back. So this is more of the same, Damon. More of the same. I don't know how many times we can discuss these things and provide insight. It's just like, okay, there's nothing, no wrestling happening for the time being.
Yeah.
So that's about all I've got to say about it.
I don't really. I mean, that's it. I don't know what else to say. I mean, fuck me. Yeah, they're going to push back those ticket sales. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a month or two. That's fine. I think it's the smartest thing they could possibly do. Shows canceled. I mean, we said it last week. Dontaku was on thin ice at best. So I think that's all but done. I didn't know they
done taco.
Done taco. My friend Gabby calls it Don Taco. It's funny.
That's not funny.
It is. It's kind of funny. She has a whole character. She thinks Don Taco is a wrestler. Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to do better than that, Damon. Come on.
Well, Gabby's, she's not really, she's not really up on the pro graps.
Is she going to listen to this?
No.
Okay, good.
Our friend Gabby? No, she would never. No. I don't think people understand what this is and what, like, you try to explain it to people and it's like, yeah, people actually listen and they're like, oh, I don't know. People just don't give a fuck about me. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give a shit. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, that's going to be canceled. I didn't know Champions Carnival. They officially canceled it, huh?
Yeah, and you imagine them waiting until, April 2nd to do that, so they do bring in their money from the subscriptions, speaks to the financial thin ice that they're on at the moment. So, thankful for the mercies of the fact that New Japan is owned by a huge, rich corporation and, touch wood isn't likely to be going out of business anytime soon, because I think the pro-res landscape when things come back are going to look quite different. Oh yeah, speaking of which, Damon, have you watched any Noah recently? Did you see this controversial Kaz Fujita against Go Shiozaki match?
I heard about it, but honestly, I don't think I would be in a good frame of mind sitting through. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I've heard about this match. This is a match that was in an empty arena, correct?
Yeah, Korakuen.
Okay. All right. 2, they stared at each other for 20 minutes?
Yep, at least. I think it was longer than that.
So, again, I just want to make sure I'm clear. They were in the ring, and they stared at each other for 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, my understanding, staring at each other for the best part of half an hour, then a walk and brawl, and then a bit of wrestling at the end.
Are people loving this?
Yeah, it does seem to be the cause celeb for a certain subsection of fans online.
It doesn't sound to me like anything I would be interested in seeing. Is that? Did you watch it?
No, don't be ridiculous, David.
Look, I
hate myself, but not that much yet.
Right. Like, that's where
Ask
we
me again
are.
in a month. If I've reached the point where I want to watch two wrestlers literally stare at each other for 30 minutes, then it's time to find a new hobby.
Yeah. I cannot believe that is where we are. Because that's
my favourite thing, David, are the people who are trying, spinning that little hamster wheel, trying to explain the psychology of that and why it makes sense and why it's good. And God bless them.
Yeah, look, I mean, if anybody can find enjoyment in anything, I mean, we're talking about fucking rubbing one out while we're taking a shit. I mean, that's where we are. That's where we are with our entertainment. So, I mean, who am I to judge?
Yeah, but it doesn't take me an hour to do that, Damon.
Very true. You know what I need to do? I'll probably need to contact my Australian Noah experts, the great Claire and Kyle, who I haven't talked to in a while. They would give me the true barometer, the true temperature of the Noah fan base, and I would love to hear their thoughts on this. To me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I struggled to even watch like great Noah stuff. You know what I mean? Like people will be like, "That match was fucking great," and I'll watch maybe half of that stuff. right. I mean, that's just me, right? But I can't imagine me sitting like that would be turned off after 3 minutes. I don't know. It's not for me. But all right. But yeah, maybe I'll reach out to them and get their take on that. But that does not sound appealing to me. That's for sure. How are you making out with all, what are your thoughts on all these empty arena matches that we've been privy to? AEW, hate them.
Yeah. Someone in the Voices of Wrestling Slack said it best. Like, wrestling should be to take your mind off things, but seeing shit in an empty arena is a stark reminder of what's going on. And also, wrestling without a crowd reacting to things is like that's taking away a big chunk of what makes wrestling special to me.
Yeah, I agree with both points. I mean, it is something. I'm going to be honest. There was one AEW show that I thought I really enjoyed when they had like some of the wrestlers at ringside, and I think it was the one. I think it might have been the first one they did. Look, they're trying. I appreciate the fact that at least they're trying to do something. It does remind me of where it does more harm for me than good, right? It just reminds me of shit that I don't want to be reminded of, and for the same reasons that you talked about. I feel like I'm watching pro wrestlers practice. That's what I really feel like I'm watching. I feel like I'm watching them practice, and that that doesn't really mean much to me. Are you going to watch Mania?
I'm tempted. I'm not going to lie, just for the sort of car crash aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that is what we are looking forward to. A pre-taped, empty arena WrestleMania is going to be the highlight of our week, Joe. Oh, fuck us.
Oh, dear.
You know what I mean?
I feel more depressed now than I did at the start of the show when you were like borderline tears. Just by thinking about 2 days of WrestleMania in an empty arena. Fuck me.
2 days of it in an empty arena. Everything taped, so it's going to be all those wacky camera angles and trying to be cinematic as fuck and, trying to tell stories, pal. It's going to be all that. Oh, it is going to be fucking dreadful. Wait.
Good news. Coming soon.
Here we go.
New Japan are excited to announce that fans in the US will be able to get their hands on NJPW merchandise shipped directly to their door, easier than ever before, with the Tokon Shop Global coming April 10th, which is a long time coming. I think people have been after something like this for a while.
Yeah, I mean, better than those fucking pro wrestling tees. I know that. Even though we have t-shirts there.
I don't know if I've talked about this on the show yet. My fucking Scampy Club design, which I'll talk about now because it's just, I don't think it's ever going to see the light of day. Those fuckers at Pro Wrestling Tees said, because it's a parody of another intellectual property, then we can't use it. But I swear, like, all other wrestlers have got parody shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Pay $50 for that design. Oh, wait, did I pay 50 or did I pay? I can't remember, but I paid enough money to want some fucking investment, or at least to be able to buy the t-shirt for myself,
right?
And wear it around. Hey, look, it's a t-shirt with my cat on it. But
yeah,
I might put it on Redbubble.
I was about to say, why don't you just put it like on Etsy or Redbubble or something like that? Get my brother to make it. He'll fucking knock off some t-shirts for you.
So, someone help me out. I'll send you the image file and you get some fucking t-shirts.
Yeah.
Just for me. Just send me one.
I know. It's really
I want a
adorable. I
Scampi
love
t-shirt.
it. I know. I wonder one too. I know you sent that. You were so fucking. You were livid. I mean, right?
I mean, it's my fault. I probably should have checked beforehand, but still annoying.
Well, how are you going to check
Sad.
beforehand? Like, how would you know? You upload the
I
image.
don't know.
Yeah.
Email them and say, "Hey, can I have a Bullet Club pasty shirt with my cat on it?" I don't know. All right, well, there you go. You can spend the money that you don't have buying New Japan merchandise stateside, so enjoy.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
do
good
it.
though.
Buy some more of our t-shirts.
Nobody's bought a T-shirt in fucking forever, right? I mean, When was the last time somebody ordered a fucking T-shirt?
It's been months. I guess
Yeah.
like when people have got one, they've got one. They don't need to buy another one, do they? So
I will say this: we haven't been very diligent putting up designs, but yet we have, and they get fucking blocked. Parody. It's a fucking cat for a podcast, people. Jesus Christ. That's New Japan, isn't it?
yeah.
Fuck New Japan.
No, it wasn't them. I think it was just Pro Wrestling Tees, whoever's in charge of that. There's some sort of filtering process where they check each design before they put it up. So they didn't even put it up. They just took one look at it and was like, no, this is not worth the trouble, and said no to me.
I want a T-shirt of Harold May on a toilet jerking off while taking a shit. That's what I. All right, you want to block that one? That's what I'm. That's what I'm. I'm
Whoever
going
is
to make
responsible
it. Fuck
for
it. I'm
not
with
putting
somebody.
my t-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have a conversation.
Young Bucks probably.
Yeah, those fucking guys, those fucking money grubbers, sitting there, Scrooge McDuckin with their T-shirt sales, and their parodies of everything else. I don't see Nintendo knocking on their fucking door. Their whole fucking T-shirt line are parodies.
Yes, the cease and desist thing that they were cashing in on.
Yeah, they got the whole like Nintendo themed super kick thing. The fuck? We're blaming the Young
This is
Bucks.
putting me in a
They have
bad
nothing to
mood.
do with this. Young Bucks have
We've
nothing.
run the
Young
full
Bucks
gamut
have-
of emotions today.
I know. Young Bucks are sitting there listening. We had nothing to do with it. Come on, guys. Come on. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Are they the ones that ghosted you? You've been reaching out to Nick and Matt to come on the show.
Yeah, no, they didn't. No, I don't know. I hate that. I listen. I'm terrible at returning text messages. I really am. But you know how like WhatsApp has the little thing where you see people that you know they read it. You know what I mean? Just be like,
The little blue double tick.
yeah. I know.
You've seen it, you fucker.
I saw it. And then what I did was I did the old sent once, and I saw they saw, and I was like, okay, people are busy, blah blah blah. So then I sent a little follow up with like an option 2, nothing, and I was like, okay, all right.
Maybe they got really sick. Maybe they got the coronavirus and they're in hospital.
No, because then they're online. Nah, I'm not even gonna do it. Nah.
Okay, let's move on. There's plenty of other stuff to
right. I don't want to burn.
keep us occupied. There's some stuff been put up on New Japan World. There is a Hiromu documentary which I watched about an hour ago about his comeback, and it's got the interesting stuff I found was him on the comeback trail training his neck. Like he was wearing this special head brace that had chains on it and a 30-kilogram dumbbell attached. He said he was doing 1 hour of neck training per day, and you really get a feel in this documentary of how his body has bulked up. And there was also an interesting interview with Ryu Lee talking about his sense of guilt and culpability over what happened and how he's abandoned the Phoenix Plex. And you just got your standard Hiromu nonsense, him being very extra, talking about his imaginary spirit animals and UFOs and paranormal and shit like that. So if you like Hiromu, then you might want to check that out. The Okada Tiger Hattori sit-down chat, that was quite cool. I like that because there was a real sense of warmth. It was like like a an uncle and his favourite nephew sitting down together and reminiscing about the good old times, and stories about Okada inviting him to this special, I think it's an island that where one of his uncles lives or something, and then going fishing together and stuff. That was quite nice. That gave me the warm fuzzy. So that's one that I enjoyed watching personally, and I would recommend. There's the Encyclopedia New Japanica, which is like a round table of a couple of wrestlers. There's Tanahashi on there, Liger on there, talking about best matches and favourite wrestlers and stuff. I didn't get that far into it. I found it a bit boring, to be honest. Liger did pick Stan Hansen versus Andre the Giant as his favourite match. Yeah. And then they got to talking about best international wrestlers in New Japan history, and Liger picked Giant Bernard. So at that point I was just like, I don't know if I want to watch the full 2 hours of this. And yeah, they've put the New Beginning USA tour on YouTube. I'm not watching that. Any interest from you?
Zero. I ain't watching that shit. Come on.
There's Zack Sabre Jr. in an interview. I haven't read that yet.
Just fucking dreadful. Like imagine being there and like being like, they got, you know.
The funny thing, sorry, David, was the tweet which said, "You asked, so here it is." Who the fuck asked for that? We won the New Beginning USA tour that did really bad numbers and nobody enjoyed.
Right. Unbelievable. I mean, they're just. Here's what they got to do. I'll give you this one for free, kids, dopes. You gotta. Why don't you work with that fucking network that's your broadcast partner? Put up some TV. You mean to tell me you can't get the rights to those old TV shows? I was going through 95, 93, 95. Oh, so good. 93 is such a great year. That's what you put up on that network. Not these horse shit fucking. Oh, I don't know. I will say this. They're in a tough way. They got to be scrambling. And what do they do? They do this. This is what they do. I'm waiting for the. They're going to have the New Japan Cup and have the wrestlers do it on video games. I'm waiting for that to happen because now you're seeing that in the NBA. You're having like teams play each other in video games.
Well, Taichi already did that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that live stream, right? Yeah, Fire Pro. Speaking of Fire Pro, I've been doing a lot more Fire Pro. That's for sure. If there's also another benefit, I've actually been doing a lot more of that. But I don't really play. I just more organizing and collecting wrestlers and rings than anything else. I am so weird.
I'll tell you what I've been doing in the past day or two is I saw a really interesting post on Reddit. I know that will shock you because it's usually fucking garbage, but someone put on a post about WWE wrestlers' best opponent. So they went through Cage Match, and for each, I think they took everyone who's ever held a title in WWE, found their singles matches on Cage Match, and listed them ranked them by the Cage Match score, and then took the top rated match, like top rated opponent, and organised the data to find out who gave the most wrestlers their best match. Does that make sense? Have I explained it?
Yeah.
So maybe you can guess which WWE wrestler do you think gave the most other wrestlers their best match?
Is he? Just give me a hint. Is the person current right now?
They're not an active wrestler, no.
Not an active wrestler right now. Cena?
Oh, wait, actually, I think they might have done one of those Saudi shows recently to be. Cena's up there, actually.
Cena's up there, yeah. I think Cena gets a bad rap sometimes. Pardon the pun.
I think he's really good. Always enjoyed him.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit it's his formula, but yeah, not an active wrestler right now. Punk.
No, it's either someone who's involved in.
you said
he's a road agent. He helps with NXT, laying the matches out, telling people to stare at their hands and stuff.
Shawn Michaels. Okay.
Correct, yeah. So anyway, I saw that post and I thought, oh, this is really interesting. I would like to do the same for New Japan. So I've been combing through the data. Someone's probably going to beat me to it. I'm going to be ready to launch this and someone will have already done it. But yeah, I've been going through Cage Match, putting everyone's best opponent and trying to figure out who has given the most wrestlers their best match in New Japan. And it's been really interesting, actually, seeing the names that have popped up. And
can you give us a little tease? Can you give us a little tease on who might be like Okada's best?
Yeah, should we make it like a quiz then? I'll tell you some big names, and you tell me who you think their best opponent was. So you got to sort of put your mind in the frame of mind of a cage match, the average cage match rater, and what they would say is the opponent's best match. So nice, easy one to start. Okada, who do you think they've got his best opponent?
I would say Tanahashi, right?
No, it's Kenny Omega based on their Wrestle Kingdom 11 match.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right, makes sense. All right,
actually, no, sorry, it's joint. That's a joint high score with another wrestler and another match in the same year.
What? Not Suzuki, right?
Nope. Oh, you'll kick yourself.
Probably will. I don't know, Joel. Who?
Which is ironic because this is someone who kicks people. He's not kicking people anymore.
Shibata.
Yeah. Shibata. Okay, Naito's best opponent.
I hope it's not Jericho.
Nope.
Ibushi.
I'll tell you the date of the match that is the highest ranked for this person. 13th of August, 2016. It's a G1 final.
Yeah.
No, it's not a G1 final. It's a G1 block final.
Ibushi, right?
No, it's Kenny Omega.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How far back are we going with this?
Well, it's their whole
career.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just whichever one is the highest ranked, that's what I'm taking as their best opponent.
Gotcha.
One more then, Tanahashi.
Okada.
Yes. Which match do you think it is that is the highest ranked?
Probably the Wrestle Kingdom where he beats Okada.
It's actually 7th of April 2013, which I believe is the Invasion Attack match.
Invasion, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, but I've enjoyed doing that. So don't beat yourself up about being a big nerd because I've done something that's arguably worse. So excited about. I've had a few things I got stuck on though. If there is no cage match rating, do you think it's okay to defer to Meltzer scores, or does that?
I think Meltzer scores. Yeah, no. I could. Here's the thing with cage match that, like, I don't know if that's a great barometer. I mean, you need something, right? Is cage match still the relevant place to get that type of information, or is like Grapple the place?
I think cage match has a wider set of data. I think there's more people who have submitted votes to this. But like, for example, someone like Tadao Yasuda has no singles matches that are on the match guide as rated by cage match people. So all I've got to go by there are observer scores. So I don't know if I should include that or not. Whereas other people like Bob Sapp, there are no rated matches. So I guess I'm leaving people like Bob Sapp, Hugh Guerrera, Jado,
I mean,
Masayuki Naruse.
For Bob Sapp, I mean, it's not that they're not rated. They just got 0 score. There's no score. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, you're better at that. My head would explode after the first 15 seconds of trying to compile that type of data. But Yeah, that sounds fun, I guess, right? Yeah, I'm into it. I like that. I like the finished product of that. You have anybody else helping you with that?
I did ask a couple of people who said they help, but they have entered nothing so far. So
God damn it!
I've got to the 160 wrestlers I've got listed as title holders in New Japan. So I'm getting into the Yoshitatsus and Currymans and Dick Togos of the world. So
wow, Dick Togo.
Nearly finished.
God bless you. All right, good for you. This whole pandemic has opened our eyes to a new set of data. We'll finally know who Dick Togo's best opponent is.
Oh dear. Okay, Super J-Cast Classic watch along. So we picked 4 matches for you. The match I picked was Kensuke Sasaki against Toshiaki Kawada from January 4th, 2001. So the context from Manabu, he tells us, after Giant Baba's death, Misawa became the company executive, but there was a power struggle between Misawa and Baba's widow, Motoko Baba. In the year 2000, Misawa left for All Japan with almost all of the roster. Only Kawada and Fuchi stayed. So then October 9th, which is the same day as New Japan versus UWF International show, there was a New Japan versus All Japan show, and the main event was Sasaki versus Kawada. And Sasaki lost that match and was so ashamed of himself that he relinquished the title in quite an unusual move. So this match was a rematch of that, and also the final of, I think it was a 6-man elimination tournament in the Tokyo Dome, where Kawada had 1 match, but Sasaki had 2. So Kawada was the fresher man there, and Sasaki's like defending against this invader for the company. And interesting stat here that Kawada was the only of the 4 pillars to main event a Tokyo Dome New Japan show, I think. And I picked this match because I thought it was great. It's like great haircuts. It's like a mullet battle. It's 2 guys rocking the mullets, just looking like absolute badasses. It reminded me a bit of the Taichi versus Ishii match from the G1 block finals. Because obviously, Taichi was mentored by Kawada, and I think there's certain parallels you can draw between the styles of Ishii and Kensuke Sasaki. And I just like the way it was the opening exchanges, like the lariat versus the high kick, and just really iconic moments like Sasaki with the lariat to the throat of Kawada, and then Kawada's got the nosebleeds, a bit of accidental blood always makes everything better, and the slap exchange, it's just like your real archetypal strong style match with 2 guys collapsing from the lariats. In a lot of matches these days, when guys sell a lariat or bump for a lariat, they do like a 450 to make it really exaggerated. But these guys just like stumbling over each other because they're so exhausted, and just little touches like when Kawada's doing a stretch plum, he's like grinding his elbow into Sasaki's face and his ear. So even like the quote-unquote rest holds, these guys are just making it look gritty and nasty and ugly. And it's only like a 10-minute match, so it's just a very dense 10 minutes of action. I love this one, and quality tracksuits as well.
Yeah, they sure are. I loved it too. I think for me, this match was my favorite of the 4. You're right. It is not this 30-minute epic where you need to pack a lunch and sit in front of your couch and spend a lot of time with it. It's sprint, and it starts out hot. Like there is no warm-up period here. They go right for it. Kawada's nose is busted open. I don't even think we're 5 minutes into this match. If you like the big beefy clotheslines, the ones that make the sound that sound like the baseball bat. If you like the stiff kicks, the classic Kawada kicks, you're gonna love this match. It's a hot crowd, I think. It felt like an important match. Like even if you just drop in on this match without any context, you drop in on this match and you feel the excitement in the crowd. And it's the Tokyo Dome, so it's not always the easiest thing to do. Again, 10 minutes. It's not even 15, I think, right? Of brutal, hard-hitting pro wrestling. If that's a style that you enjoy, you should. If you haven't watched it, this should be the first one you check out. And again, for me, of the 4, I think I forgot this one the most. Like this one left my memory the most from watching it, but then rewatching it, to me, it's one of those matches that holds up really well even today. Whereas I think other matches that I watched again, I didn't necessarily get that feeling. So I'm putting this one at the top of my rewatch list for this week.
Yeah, it's got that sort of evergreen style that now we associate with like never open weight title matches and guys like Shingo and Ishii and Goto and Evil. So yeah, really, really fun match. Definitely recommend if you haven't seen it already. And you picked Apollo Go-Go versus Golden Lovers from Destruction 11th of October 2010. Damon, you are obsessed with the damn Golden Lovers. If you love them so much, why don't you marry them? You just won't shut up about them, will you? But yeah, context here from Manabu, the Tokyo Sports Pro Wrestling Awards, obviously one of the most famous wrestling awards in Japan, usually quite authoritative, conservative, so usually junior heavyweight matches are not chosen, not even nominated. But in 2010, this junior tag match was picked as the best bout. And the interesting thing, it wasn't even the main event or semi-main event. It was the fifth match before the intermission at Sumo Hall. So Apollo Go-Go, Golden Lovers just stole the show completely. Terrific match. You know, Damon, how much I love a good high-paced junior tag match. And a lot of star power in this one when you think about where each of these guys have ended up as well. And I've got to say, I really love Kenny Omega as a tag wrestler. I think the stuff he's doing in AEW in the tag matches is really good. And even here, like, there's a bit of the Kenny goofiness, but it doesn't distract me from what's going on in the ring. And I really miss the Golden Lovers as a team. They won our 2018 award for Best Tag Team, and just seeing them here, even 10 years ago, they were still great. And I thought all four guys have really good chemistry, everything perfectly executed, really creative teamwork, the timing was spot on. There was just one moment at the ends where Apollo Go-Go did their team finisher, I don't know what it's called, but it looked like that was going to be it. That was going to be the end of the match because they had the perfect camera angle where you couldn't see Kenny Omega getting into the ring, and he just leaps in. He just appears out of nowhere to break up the cover, and I just thought that was masterfully done. And just a Phoenix splash at the end. It looked really painful. It looked like Ibushi caught Devitt right in the rib. So yeah, tremendous match. Love this one.
I love it. No, I'm gonna show my stupidity or my whatever. So. You call them Apollo Go-Go?
Yeah, 5 in Japanese is go, so 55 is go-go.
Ah, why did that not make a connection with me? Because I mean, I'm always going Apollo 55, and isn't it like a play off the spaceship, the Apollo 55 mission or something? Like that?
Maybe yeah. I mean, I could be wrong. I thought it was go-go. I think either are acceptable.
I just want to make sure. All right, good. Because I'm
going to ask Manabu.
Yes. I'm like, wait, go-go? What the fuck is a go-go? Because I always, anybody who's ever talked to me about them always referred to them as 55. So, okay, all right. Maybe I'm learning something new. I don't know. Okay, good. You're right. The one point that you made, all the points you made, I agree with, but the one point that stuck out was, I feel like this was a match where you had 4 guys that were maybe not on everyone's radar that instantly became, I feel like this was like a launching point for every one of these guys to be on people's radar. I think this match at the time got a really good amount of buzz. I think this turned people, like I remember Kenny Omega being a guy who was okay, and being a guy who, I don't know, like he would be on, I would see him on independent shows, and I even think I remember seeing him like on the bottom of like Ring of Honor shows, and he just wasn't a guy that stood out and stuck out to me. He really wasn't. That might just, that could be inexperience, that could be whatever, but it was just, he didn't stick out for me. I think Kota Ibushi had a little bit more of a buzz around him at the time. I think at the time, as strange as this sounds, like I thought the guy, I remember being a little bit more of a fan of Taguchi than any of the other guys at the time. Like rewatching it, I think that's just the craziest statement ever. But I remember at the time thinking that, oh, fucking Taguchi's really good. And he is good, but like of all those people that were in the ring, like I just felt like he was the one that was going to break out from the pack and be the guy. So I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah. Let me ask you this: do you think this match holds up today?
Yeah, definitely. I think
Me too.
it's exactly
Yeah.
the sort of match that I like to see opening a big show.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we talk about the junior tags and we talk about, how Show and Yo, or even before that, Bobby Fish and the other guy.
Kyle O'Reilly. Motor City Machine Guns as well. I love them. They were great and very... They were sort of the pioneers of this 100 miles an hour junior tag style, weren't they?
In a certain sense, I mean, I think they took it to a new level, especially with this match. Junior tags have always been an under the radar highlight for just about any show. I got to go back and find. There is a junior tag tournament in the 90s, and just some of the fucking names, Liger and Otani and Benoit, and I think Two Cold Scorpios in it, and just some Dean Malenko's in it. Just unbelievable tag tournament. I gotta remember the name of it and maybe mention it next week. They've always been there. It's always been just really fun stuff. But yeah, I think this was the beginning of modern day what to expect from a junior tag match. And again, I just remember watching this match back in the day and thinking that Taguchi's, he's going to be the breakout star. We got three guys in there that might have eclipsed him.
Yeah, really good stuff. So strongly recommend people check this one out. And the next one was the Great Sasuke versus Ultimo Dragon from 5th of August 1996. So Manabu, again, giving us the context. Great Sasuke debuted as Masa Michinoku in Universal Pro Wrestling, which was the first Lucha Libre style promotion in Japan. The promotion invited lots of Mexican wrestlers and featured pure Mexican wrestling, like Fantastica Mania. The promotion also had a few Japanese wrestlers, and actually the most popular guy was a young, super talented Japanese high flyer whose name was Yoshihiro Asai, aka Ultimo Dragon, who was a huge fan of the first Tiger Mask, and he was able to copy most of the first Tiger Mask moves. So when Masa Michinoku debuted, Asai had been the ace of the company, and years later, New Japan did a single elimination tournament with 8 junior heavyweight champions who entered. The tournament was held during the G1, and every single match in the tournament was a title match, and this was the final of that match. And yeah, this one was really interesting to watch because this is, pretty old, 1996. But I think, again, like the last match, it really holds up to the kind of junior heavyweight high flying matches that we're used to today. And it does start out really technical with that, lots of grappling, the rave, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, but the hold and counter holds, some really impressive and quite dangerous high spots for the time period. And yeah, I just think it holds up to a lot of the stuff you might see today from guys like Ryu Lee or Hiromu. Like there was a moment where there was a top rope senton where Sasuke lands right on the floor, and they showed the slow motion replay of it, and it seemed like Ultimo just didn't catch him in time, and he just splat straight on the floor. Finish was a bit of a mess. Maybe you can enlighten me on what happened there, because it looked like Ultimo kicked out at 2, but it was counted as a 3 anyway. And then we get Sasuke with all the belts and the swimsuit ladies looking very impressed with him. And yeah, another really enjoyable match.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it felt like it was a botch, right? I mean, I feel like we're when we dig into the archives, we see more and more instances of referees or wrestlers and referees not being on the same page or something along those lines. But yeah, I did that. I don't know. This one, like if I'm going to rank all 4, I put this one on the bottom of the list upon rewatch. I mean, it does hold up to a certain degree, but I remember. I guess I seem to remember this match a little bit more fondly than actually watching it again. I thought it was a good match. I don't think it was a great match. Yeah, there were some cool, death-defying spots, especially for the time. Like I remember Meltzer going crazy over that spot of him diving off the ring post to the floor, doing a flip. and saying how dangerous, like that move back in the day was his equivalent of neck spots on the apron, right? I just remember him going like, "This is crazy. What possibly could be next?" I remember writing stuff like that, specifically for that.
There's the bit when he does the springboards moonsault from the apron, and they nearly just wipe out this little boy in a yellow t-shirt, and he's just like shits his pants, and I was sweating bricks. I was like, "Oh my god, they nearly killed the poor kid."
The first shot, right? You see him go, and you just see a glimpse of the kid just kind of moving right out of the way. If he didn't move to like on top of his dad's lap, he would have been wiped out. And then they showed it again and how close it really was. Like there was a foot that just grazed the kid. And we're talking a kid, like Joel, 6 years old, 7 at most. I'm probably younger than that, right?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. I mean, these kids, that kid almost ate it. Dangerous things, guys. I guess the one funny thing, though, is after the match, Sasuke wins the crown being 762 titles. And he puts the IWGP title around his waist, straps it on, and he puts another belt on top of it. So he's like around his waist. And then they're trying to figure out how he's going to carry all these titles. And he sticks out one arm, and he's got 7 belts on one arm, and he's holding out the other arm. It's just this crazy thing with the young ladies in their swimwear, each with a belt. Those were the days, pro wrestling. Those were the days. But yeah, that was kind of funny because they didn't know how to give him all these titles and the trophy and. Christ almighty. But yeah, I put this one on the bottom of the rewatch list. I think it's a good match, but for me, it just didn't hold up as well as maybe some of the other matches did.
And our last match was Satoshi Kojima versus Hiroshi Tanahashi from January 4th, 2011. So again, Manabu with the context. When Keiji Muto was leaving New Japan to move to All Japan, he asked some potential guys to go with him. Kojima said yes, but Tanahashi said no. So Kojima moved to All Japan in 2002, and All Japan pushed him as a future star. And actually, Goldberg's first match in Japan was All Japan's Budokan show, and the opponent was Kojima, and Stan Hansen taught him the Western Lariat. He also had a match against Misawa at Sumo Hall, which he lost, but Misawa used the Tiger Drive in 91 as the finisher. Finally, he took the Triple Crown title from Kawada in 2005. Years later, he left All Japan, returned to New Japan as an invader. So at the time, he had a faction called Kojima-gun with Taka Michinoku and Taichi, which obviously was the prototype for Suzuki-gun, what we call today. And in 2010, he took the G1 and also the IWGP title from Makabe. G1 final was Kojima versus Tanahashi, so this is a rematch of that. And Damon, I always love a Tanahashi Tokyo Dome entrance. There's just something about it, like the flames and the rainbow-coloured lights and the music, the high energy. He just feels like a real rock star. It's always a treat to watch. But they didn't even bother putting Kojima's entrance on the New Japan World video. He's just already in the ring like a jobber. But yeah, it's a brilliant match, isn't it? It's your classic New Japan main event title match style. All the ingredients are there, which we've become accustomed to today. You know, you've got your Tanahashi. The slow build up, the pacing. We've got some arm work there. Kojima showing his trademark fire. Some really great near falls towards the ends, and just this whole thing felt like a big turning point, like a transition or a passing of the torch, where it felt like the beginning of the modern era of New Japan as we know it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, with Tanahashi, especially in this match, in this time period, is. I'm sure he's banged up. I'm sure he's not, as, well, he's certainly not as dinged up as he is now. But you kind of see him coming into his own right around this period of really taking the next steps. Like, they put a lot of faith in him and a lot of trust in him, and obviously he's gotten a lot of credit of pulling New Japan up by the bootstraps and, him strapping New Japan on his back, and away we go. And I kind of feel like this is that era, and this match specifically is one of those benchmark moments where he's still young, and it still feels like he is in that learning mode of being a super top guy. He's a top guy, don't get me wrong, but there is something about a next level that I just don't even think he is even at yet. Like even when you look into like 2016, 17, 18. But you trade off that balance of him being that superstar with, okay, the body's starting to break down. I feel like this is the perfect era of Tanahashi where we're talking the body hasn't broken down completely yet. It might be binged and dinged, but and yet there's still this growth period. Kind of like where we are with Okada, where I truly think we haven't even seen the best of Okada. And the body hasn't broken down completely, but we know that it's starting to get worn down a little bit. And I kind of feel like that's where we are with Tanahashi, specifically with this match. And I think that's an exciting time because you know what's on the horizon and what's after when it comes to Tanahashi. So, I thought this was a great match. I thought this was, again, we talk about that big fight feel. I felt like that here as well. But again, I think this is just a perfect kind of flag in his career of, if you're looking at the two arcs of physical capabilities and pro wrestling superstar capabilities, this is almost where that's a perfect intersect.
Also noted where at this point Tanahashi didn't have his sort of dickish side yet. So we see in later big matches at Tokyo Dome main events, he kind of acts like a bit of a twat sometimes. He will sort of play the heel, but he didn't have that edge to him yet. So it's interesting seeing the kind of evolution of his big sort of main event style where he does have that side to him where he's not afraid to be a bit of a wanker, basically.
Yeah, but that's him. I kind of chalk that up to, again, his evolution and him kind of learning that it's okay for him to be that way in certain scenarios. Like, you don't have to be this ultimate babyface all the time. You can have different shades of gray that kind of filter in and out to help you be a better pro wrestler. And I think those are little things that he'll pick up later in his career. And he may have it in his back pocket. Maybe he just doesn't have the confidence to do that at that point in his career. Who knows? But again, I feel like this time period is that perfect intersection of still physically got pretty much all of his faculties with him. Right, the knees aren't shot yet, the hip isn't shot yet, the shoulder isn't shot yet, and yet there's still plenty more to learn about being a megastar pro wrestler.
All right, so that's the Super J-Cast Classic Watch Along for this week. We'll have some more matches to look at next week. So maybe time to dig into a few questions from the Discord. Jacob says, do you guys think if Ibushi had committed to New Japan fully earlier that he would have been IWGP champ by now?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, I think anytime New Japan is going to give someone a title, especially the big boy belt, they want that person to be around. I think they learned plenty of lessons that unless you're locked down, you ain't getting a title. So yeah, I mean, I think that commitment both ways would have been important and probably would have pushed them in that direction a little bit further. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
Because you go back and you look at that amazing match you had with Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom in 2015, and at the time, if you'd been asked, do you think this guy is going to win the heavyweight title in the next 5 years?
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would have said yes.
Yeah, and what other factors would have held that up? I mean, that to me, that's the main reason. And you got to figure around that time too. You had other companies sniffing around. What a world it would have been if Zach and Coda decided to stick around after that junior heavyweight tournament. Right? What a different world we'd be in right now. But yeah, you would have thought that the minute he got back from that ring in the locker room, there would have been a contract waiting for him, be like, lock this guy down. But here's the thing: a lot of it, I would think, also depends on him too. Like he's not a guy that's going to sign any contracts anytime soon. I mean, that's just not what he was interested in. So it goes both ways. But yeah, if in a perfect world, and I put that in air quotes, if he signed and the company locked him down, I think that would have been a no-brainer, right?
It's funny you mentioned that Cruiserweight Classic and Ibushi, because going back to this Reddit post with the people who've WWE who've worked the best one-on-one matches of other wrestlers' careers, if you look at the list of wrestlers who worked the best one-on-one match of 3 wrestlers' WWE careers, you got people like AJ Styles, Asuka, Charlotte Flair, CM Punk, Randy Orton, Randy Savage, Stone Cold, and then you've also got Ibushi there, who gave TJ Perkins, Cedric Alexander, and Brian Kendrick their best WWE matches. So it's just hilarious that he just dipped into this company, did this tournament, gave a load of people like their best ever matches, and then pieced out with no intention of signing for them whatsoever.
Yeah. Is that on the network? Is that tournament on the network?
I think so. I remember watching it real time and absolutely loving it. It was tremendous.
Yeah. I might go back and rewatch that. That might be one thing on the network that I mean, the names that were in that tournament were pretty fucking cool. That might be one for the rewatch. Watching that tournament again. If there's anything on that network that's of any interest, at least in modern times for me, that might be number one.
Next question is from Mixelplix. He says, Dear Damon and Joel, Hot Pocket reviews are bullshit, as in general are 4-way matches. Occasionally, however, they can be done quite well. 4-ways, not pocket reviews, which are clearly whack. The 4-way for the Junior Heavyweight title at Wrestle Kingdom 12 is my favourite match of its type of all time. Would you be up for another 4-way Junior Heavyweight title match in the future, assuming the right participants? Think Hiromu, Lee, Skull, and Ishimori as an example. Yeah, I prefer a one-on-one match. I tend to dislike multi-person matches, but I can't disagree. And I thought that Wrestle Kingdom 12 match was done really well. It was a fun match. But had you said to me, would you prefer to have a singles match for the Junior Heavyweight title, then I would have said yes to that. So I think if done very, very sparingly, then they can be a fun and refreshing little addition to a show. But it's not something that I would want to see. Even once a year would probably be too much for my taste. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't understand the Hot Pocket thing, so you got to clue me in on that. I don't know what that means. It's having a dig at the Voices of Wrestling flagship. Joe Rich did some. I thought it was quite funny reviewing Hot Pockets. I mean, there's fuck all else to talk about, is there? So.
Really, Hot Pockets? I've never had a Hot Pocket. I never had a Hot Pocket in my life.
Neither have I. But I want to try one now.
Yeah, all right, let's try them. What do they recommend? What was their top Hot Pocket?
I think they said it was horrible. The one they tried, it was like a sriracha chicken or something buffalo chicken. I can't remember what it was, but they said it was disgusting.
Horrible.
They weren't really selling it, to be honest.
All right, stay away from the buffalo chicken one. All right. I don't necessarily enjoy 4-way matches, 3-way matches. Sometimes they do feel a bit like a formula. And they are car crashes, and they both can be extremely fun or can be extremely annoying for me. I think a lot of times what annoys me the most about them is the lead up to them, like how they got to be a 3 or 4-way match, like the fucking mental gymnastics that you have to go through to fit these 4 guys into this match, and it just feels like you're shoehorning them in. And especially for the junior title, and at a Wrestle Kingdom, I just feel like that should be a singles match, and I think that the company, to me, it feels like a company lazily books the idea of 3 and 4-way matches. Like, it just feels like they're shoehorning it in, and that leaves a little bit more of a bitter taste in my mouth. And might hurt my enjoyment of them. So, yeah. very sparingly. But if you build it correctly, I would be more inclined to say yes. But if it's just like a hodgepodge, we're throwing these fucking guys in a ring, and it was just a matter of three guys standing there pointing at each other in the belt, and that's how we got there, fuck that. That can get right up the street. If they did it well and they booked it well and it made sense and there was a story behind it and it was compelling, I'd be more inclined to say yes.
I might go back and listen to our review of King of Pro Wrestling when we had that three-way Ibushi, Kenny, and Cody match, because I remember that being a fun show. Some hot takes there, hotter than the Hot Pockets. Okay, Twitter questions. Bash says, I keep thinking about Paul Gedo and Jado. Like, all the booking is put on hold at the moment. If it's true, they book way in advance, then do they completely start from scratch or just reshuffle things around? And a few similar questions. John says, do you think the New Japan Cup and or the Hiromu Naito match will still happen once shows run again, or they just skip ahead to whatever they book next? And Chris, thoughts on possibly doing the New Japan Cup during the time when the Olympics were supposed to take place? So, yeah, it's a really hard one. There's no precedent for this, so no idea. Are they going to skip ahead, or are they going to go back and do what they originally had planned? Fuck knows.
I don't know how you, as a booker, with if all the things are true, and big storylines are plotted out, well in advance, and maybe the details of it, might be left to other resources and other people. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you just rewrite these things. I would think that they just kind of pick up in the calendar year. I really do. I don't, because I don't know what. Look, we're talking about some creative people, and if anybody can make it work, it's them. But I don't know. I don't know how. Just the general structure of what pro wrestling is, especially New Japan Pro Wrestling, where they are sort of dependent upon the season and the time of year, and these things occur in somewhat chronological order, and these placeholders are there to make that happen. I don't know how you don't just hop into, okay, it's G1 season and we're hopping right into G1 and everything else is a wash. I don't know how else you do it. I can't imagine a New Japan Cup occurring just to shoehorn in a New Japan Cup just to make happen. I just think wherever we start, that's where we are, and we go from there.
I think it could be done, but I think it's more a question of how many dates have you got, how many venues have you got booked? Let's say you want to use this July Hokkaido tour and you think, okay, let's see if we can squeeze the New Japan Cup in. Do they have enough shows to be able to do that? I think it could be done. I think maybe you could sacrifice whatever you had planned for, I don't know, your Destruction tour, and replace that with what you were going to do for the New Japan Cup. I don't know if it's that simple, but I don't know. I would be sad if we just lost the New Japan Cup, because I love tournaments.
I do too, but here's the thing too. Also, you got to think about the financial aspect of it as well. So we're now going to jam in what would theoretically be 9 months of pro wrestling in 6 months? So that money that was allocated toward different buildings and different resources, hopefully it's still there, right? I mean, I guess it is, right? I don't know. Can you then put that 9 months of pro wrestling and the infrastructure of running those shows in to that short amount of time? The wear and tear on the pro wrestlers themselves. And let's be honest here, the staff too, right? I know everybody's geared up and ready to go, but how does that look logistically, right? Again, cramming in 9 months of pro wrestling in 6 months. To me, it feels like...
You've raised the point about they had that sort of mega night of New Japan Cup action plans where they had the Ospreay Shingo rematch. Would you want to do that but in a smaller venue where you're not going to get as much ticket sales out of it?
Right. And again, we're talking... So again, let's keep in mind this too. This is not just New Japan that shut down. Everything has shut down. So if I'm a building and I got the option... And again, I'm going to give you a ridiculous scenario, but here we go. If I had the option of having a rescheduled Elton John concert where I know the house is going to be sold, and I know that the ticket prices are going to be expensive, and I'm sure that merch sales will be amazing, and all that stuff, or New Japan Pro Wrestling in? Because again, we only have 6 months in this calendar year to go, and everybody is trying to reschedule, right? So if I'm a venue, who do I take? Right? We've got a lot to reschedule. Now, again, the Olympics not being there, that might open up some more options that maybe weren't there before. But understand that everything needs to be rescheduled. Not just New Japan Pro Wrestling, not just pro wrestling. Everything. That fucking Needlepoint convention, that's got to be rescheduled. That fucking Metallica concert has to be rescheduled. That fucking whatever it is has to be rescheduled. And if you're a building, you only have so many fucking dates to do it. It's not like New Japan's just going to sashay right on in and be like, okay, we're going to take that date and woo, away we go. There may not be that availability, might not be there. So I think it's going to be hard to cram 9 months of pro wrestling in 6 months. I think they just pick up where they should. The buildings are already booked. The infrastructure is already there. It was going to happen anyway. You just pick up and go. And here's the worst part that happens. A storyline doesn't get a clear, definitive beginning, right? We just pick up right where we got to go. And I hate to break the bad news to people. A building doesn't give two fucks about your storyline. I hate to say it.
Next question is from Liam Oath says, is there any one wrestler from any other Japanese promotion you'd like to see compete in New Japan? I mean, seeing Wrestle One disappearing, I'm very interested to see what happens to Shotaro Ashino, because I've enjoyed what I've seen of him, and I thought he might be a smart get for New Japan. I mean, obviously the easy answer was Kento Miyahara, who's an incredible wrestler, like, absolutely brilliant, but All Japan need him more than New Japan do, so I'm happier to see him in All Japan, keeping them afloat, than being siphoned off into New Japan. But is there anyone in, just strictly hypothetically from other Japanese promotions that you think would be a nice addition for New Japan?
Yes, Sushi. I think Sushi should be should be lifted from All Japan. I want to rob and pillage the All Japan undercard. That's where I want to go. I'm going to do things a little bit different for me. I want Sushi.
Good answer. I wasn't expecting that one. Okay, Anders says, any countries or arenas New Japan haven't held a show in yet that you would like them to do?
What's that? What's the question?
Any countries or arenas that New Japan haven't held a show in yet you would like them to do? I'd like a show in Bangkok now. This weekend, please. Lumpini Hall. Not as big as a Sakajo Hall, but come on, do it.
Antarctica. I would like to see the first New Japan Pro Wrestling show occur in an igloo in Antarctica, please. That would be my one wish in life.
Ben Hallahan, does our graphics for our end of year awards, says, for Joel, we welcomed our own young lion last week. It's the best. Congratulations, Ben. I hope you're enjoying it. What are you looking forward to most about being a dad? I obviously want to dress Esther up like a wrestler. What is the point of having children otherwise? I want to parade them around the outside of Tokyo Dome or Osaka-jo in their little costume, which I'm not making. Mali's making the costume, and hey, look at my kid, look at my cute kid with their cute wrestling costume.
I live for the day. That would be wonderful. How adorable that would be. That would be so great. That would warm my heart. We'll make that happen. Good job.
Ben also said, and for a laugh, which New Japan dad will you most embody as a parent? I think Goto has really great dad energy. There's always really cute videos on his Instagram of his kids. So he is... I know he's not technically one of the New Japan dads, but I think he's a great dad.
Liger. You see those videos? He might be the most... I mean, I watch those videos. I don't understand half the words he's saying. Obviously, it's in Japanese, but just the way he says them, and I don't know. He just seems like, oh, what a fucking cool dude. Like a nice guy. I don't know. I would be all in on Liger. He's a YouTube star now, Joel, you know.
Yeah, I heard Hiromu as well. He started his own YouTube channel. But
Yeah.
there you go. Let me find an interesting one. RSY1376 says best wrestling debut ever? Question mark.
It's not Jushin Liger, that's for sure. Best debut, Vader maybe. That was pretty. Stan Hansen in fucking All Japan is pretty great. The way he came in with Brody and Snuka during the tag tournament against the Funks, and he fucking lays out Terry Funk with a clothesline outside. That was pretty fucking cool. And that was a big deal. Him coming down the hall. I might go Stan Hansen All Japan. That was pretty great. Not gonna lie.
Even in recent years, I've enjoyed Shingo, Kenta, Moxley. They've had some really cool debuts as well. So, yeah, always exciting to see someone new turning up. Steel O'Neill says, if you could Freaky Friday body swap with any wrestler, who would it be and what would you do?
Okay, I'm gonna pull back the curtain. I'm gonna share with you a very intimate Damon thing. So when I go to sleep at night, I always try to think of positives. I've read somewhere that if you just think of positive things, it'll help you wake up in the morning and be a little bit more positive. So your thoughts are positive things and positive images and positive whatever. So my positive thing is that this is so embarrassing. It's more embarrassing than the opening of the show. A grown man breaking it down. Okay, here we go. So there is a genie, and I find a genie lamp, and the genie grants me wishes. And my wishes is I have a bank account that I have it's constantly at this number, and the number is $636 million. So no matter what I spend, that always gets refreshed, right? Two,
why that specific amount? Sorry, where did that number come from?
36 is always my favorite number. And I just put the 6 because it's more than 3. Right? So I put the 6 first. But 36 is always, like when I play football, 36 was my number. It's just my favorite number. So that is part one. Part two is I'm incredibly attractive. And every person, and it could be anybody, finds me sexually attractive, right? So they have this urge or craving when they see me that not only is it acknowledged that, wow, this is a very attractive person, but I have a sexual desire for this person, right?
I just want someone to take that audio and isolate it and play it out of context.
Right. Well, it's true. So that part's really not true. But so what my template is for that, and I don't necessarily have the head figured out 100% yet, but the body is Kota Ibushi. The body is Kota Ibushi's body. That is the body that I use as the template to say, okay, I want that. That's going to be the body I have. And I haven't had the head figured out yet. The body is Kota Ibushi. That is the template. So there you go. That is that every night. Those are the thoughts in my head before I go to sleep.
I imagine myself in video game environments, like in places that I play video games. Like I'll sort of imagine myself walking around the Shadow of the Colossus lands, or the Spencer Mansion from Resident Evil, or Melee Island from Monkey Islands. So yeah, if we're talking about strange things we think about before going to bed, that's mine. So if I had to pick a body, Carl Fredericks. I think he's got an absolutely smoking body. So yeah,
it's not a bad one. That guy probably gets slayed so much. You think he's happy?
Fucking better be.
Seriously.
If he's not happy, what chance do the rest of us schlubs have?
I know. Seriously. You know what? That's exactly right. Right. Listen, I know Carl follows up. He might listen. I think he does. Who knows?
Can we borrow your body, please, Carl?
Can we? Yeah, Carl. Can you do us a favor? Can you just let us know if you're happy? Just tweet us. And we just want to know if you're happy. Let's just if you have all that, does that mean you're happy? I want to know that. I'll never have that, but I just want to know.
All right. Let me find another.
Do you think he premature ejaculates? Is there something there that do you think that maybe like he has all that, but like he just like can't perform well in a sack? Like he just like
there's got to be something,
right?
Some embarrassing thing that he can't like. He doesn't know how to multiply, or
right, or
he
his
can't look
testicles
up,
or extremely small. Right, he can't look up. He confuses his senses of smell. He's like, that smells like a flower. No, sir, that's dog shit. That wasn't funny. All right.
I thought it was funny.
Did you? I thought it bombed. Fucking shitty. All right, one more question, and then I got to go fucking do work. You know what I hate, Joel? I hate the fact that I work for a place that it's business as normal. Like, we're talking about dumb business stuff that in the whole context of the world means absolutely nothing, yet we're just going to pretend that nothing else is happening in the world, and we're just going to plow through and talk about our dumb shit like it's important. Fucking hate it.
You know what fucks me up, David? All these emails that we're getting now from companies of whose services we might have used once or twice, saying in these difficult times, we want you to know that the good people
we're here for you.
Fucking TripAdvisor or whatever are thinking of you. And fuck off.
Right. I bought coasters from you, you assholes. Fuck off is right. Yeah, this fucking corporate speak. Yeah, we're here for you, and just know that you're not alone in this time of trouble. We have all the coasters you need for your fucking... Go get the fuck up the street. Ugh. All right, one more question, please.
Okay, this is from Quartz.
What?
And the QWOORTZ. And they say, what's the worst piece of merchandise? And the answer, of course, is the Sanada Cold Skull shirt with him looking like a garden gnome. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I do, and that is shit. Does it have to be New Japan? Because the worst piece of merchandise ever in pro wrestling was the George the Animal Steel Mine doll. That was
I remember
horrific.
we talked about that once.
Like, who would buy that thing? Like, it was just, I don't even know what it was. It was just a hunk of shit. Mine. Ugh. Stop it. We get it.
What about ACH's shirt from NXT merchandise?
Oh, my Lord. Just Vince. I swear to you. Sometimes I'm very jealous of a person who has so much money that he has no idea of the world outside his little bubble. That must be so. What a way to live! Just unbelievable. Yeah, that ranks right up there. Oh well. All right.
Let's sign off on that note. Looking forward to our WrestleMania extravaganza next week.
Yeah, we'll watch that. That might be the show. I don't know. I feel bad starting the show off like a fucking jabroni, but that's where I was. That's where I am.
It's better than ending the show like that.
Yeah,
we don't want to send the listeners so depressed, do we?
Oh my God! What was that? The most depressing fucking opening of a show ever?
I thought we could have to pull the plug. I was just like, can we do 2 hours of this?
Were you embarrassed? Were you embarrassed listening?
It was like the start of an Okada title match.
Were you sitting on the other end like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this?
Oh, what a year it's been. First the Wrestle Kingdom Night 1. Strong Zero Sleepy Time. And now this.
I just remember Manabu looking at me like, you flew all the way to Tokyo and you fell asleep. The look on his face. I'll never forget that. Yeah, what a year. What a 2020 this has been.
Give us some money, please. Go to redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast. Give us some fucking money. We want money.
Yeah, Roman's not giving us anything.
I'm not getting a sniff of cash from anywhere else. Help us out. Come on. We're depressed.
Yeah.
Dragging our sorry asses talking about nonsense for 2 hours for you people. Ungrateful.
You know, And if I text you, you better fucking respond. You better fucking respond.
I want to know who
that
it is
shit.
now. I'm going to ask you off the air. But I don't want you to put them on blast, but I'm intrigued now. But presumably, if you're listening, you know who you are. And shame on you.
Shame on you. There's been a lot, actually. There's been a lot of people that's done that to me. That might be, I mean, that you really know where you stand during a fucking pandemic, and you send a text and they don't get back to you. You really know where you stand. They can't leave the house. I ain't texting back that asshole.
Oh dear. Okay. What else? Discords. There's some interesting stuff on there. I've seen talk of live streaming and fun things like that to keep the hours filled. Link to that is in the show notes. ProWrestlingTees.com/SuperJcast, where you cannot buy this Campy Club t-shirt. Again, get in touch with me if you think you can find a supplier who will stock my amazing t-shirt, because the design is great. Thanks to editor Dan. You can find his stuff at LousyHero219 on Twitter. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network for other great shows. Give us a 5-snake review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at the SuperJcast. Thanks everyone for listening and bearing with us through these difficult times. And goodbye.